Tottenham Hotspur have a huge game coming up this Wednesday against AS Monaco. But who's their manager? How will they set up tactically? What dangerous players do they have that can cause some problems for Tottenham? And how should Spurs set up to get a massive away win in the Champions League? Over the last couple of years, Monaco have been managed by Adi Hutter. He got them competing for the league title a couple of seasons ago. But recent performances and results simply haven't been good enough, and because of this, he's been sacked. The man they've replaced him with, Sebastian Pocognoli, the leader of Union Saint-Gilloise's rise to the top of the Belgian league. He's known for his high pressing and counter-pressing style. He wants his teams to be protagonists on the pitch, to control the ball. The formation he's favoured in his career so far is 3-4-2-1. 3 centre-backs, 2 more defensive-minded midfielders, 2 wing-backs, 2 attacking midfielders, and 1 lone striker up top. He occasionally switches to a 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, but this is the one he predominantly uses. It's been a mixed bag for Monaco so far this season. They're currently sat 6th in Liga. They've scored 17 goals and conceded 13. The problem is when they've lost games, they've lost them badly. Some of the teams they've been losing to, you'd expect them to win, and they've been thrashed by these teams. Their opening game in the Champions League was against Club Brugge, and they got hammered 4-1. Recently, they lost 3-1 to Lorient away from home. Despite the 5-2s against the likes of Metz and the 3-2s against the likes of Strasbourg, it simply isn't good enough, and their fans will be hoping that Pocognoli can change things around for them. When it comes to their danger men, one man has really stood out so far this season, and that's Ansu Fati. Years ago we heard about this guy's potential. He was given the number 10 at Barcelona following on from Messi. People said he was going to be the next Messi, but it was injury after injury after injury. Then had a loan spell to Brighton where he really struggled. It looked like his career was starting to fade away, but he's been fantastic for AS Monaco so far this season. He's scored 6 goals in all competitions and has been a real threat on the wing. Tore apart Manchester City when he played against them and was arguably the best player in that game. When you look at Monaco's team, it's full of players who struggled in the Premier League but have had a real resurgence outside of it. Eric Dyer, not great for Tottenham. Fantastic at Bayern Munich and has been great since he joined Monaco in the summer. Takumi Minamino, he's found his level, a real threat on the wing for AS Monaco. Balogun, since joining Liga, been a fantastic player, really impressed at Stade de Reims under Will Still, and since joining AS Monaco he's been their starting striker. And then Paul Pogba, it's been hard for him to get up to full fitness, but we know he's capable of scoring bangers like he did in one of his first few games for AS Monaco. Now let's talk about how Tottenham should set up to get a result this Wednesday. The best formation to use would be 4-2-3-1 in my opinion, and I believe with the ball, Spurs should try and draw Monaco onto them when playing out from the back. This is because Pocognoli will likely go with his favoured 3-4-2-1 formation and press high. When his team does this against Tottenham, we will likely have a 7 versus 3 overload with the midfield double pivot, the fullbacks, the centre halves and the goalkeeper, giving us a real chance to free up some space for our attacking players to exploit further up the pitch. The double pivot in my opinion should be João Paulinho and Bissouma. This is because these are our 2 most press-resistant footballers, and when focusing heavily on drawing the opposition on, we're going to need players that can eliminate the press, that can hold their own. These 2 can. Yes, Bissouma's barely played a minute of football so far this season, but I don't think Bentancur should start this game as he takes too many touches on the ball and he won't have the time and space, and I don't believe Sarr should, because whilst he works very hard, when he actually receives the ball, he's not the best at holding on to it and playing it forward. Our 2 best players when it comes to eliminating the press, turning on the ball, facing forward and playing a simple pass are João Paulinho and Bissouma. The number 10 then for me should be Lucas Bergvall. Xavi Simons was very poor against Aston Villa and doesn't deserve to start, but I genuinely think Bergvall would have fit this game even if Simons had a blinder against Villa. This is because in the 3-4-2-1, the attacking midfielders can't always press as it's too demanding to go up and down the pitch. So if they're a bit further back, there's a big space in between the attacking mids and the DMs. This is the space that Bergvall can fill. He can drop a little bit deeper into those pockets around the halfway line to connect things once we successfully play out between the defence and attack. In the final third, I believe we should use the width of the pitch to try and attack the opposition in wide areas. For me, the front three should be Mohamed Kudus on the right, Kolo Muani on the left, and Richarlison up top. We're going to need an outlet in the middle, someone who can head the ball in when it's crossed to him, and someone who can hold the ball up. Now, whilst Richarlison isn't great at those things, he's better than anyone else at those things in the team. We need players on the wings who are confident at crossing, who are skillful and quick. And for me, that's Kudus. And even though we haven't seen loads of him, that's Muani. From what I've seen of him playing for France and for PSG, I know he can do those things. Now, for me, constantly switching play pulls the centre-backs out of position. It makes it very, very difficult for the opposition to stay compact, and we can really exploit Monaco this way. Off the ball, I think it's important for Tottenham to stay as compact as possible. Try and force Monaco out wide because they won't have wingers out there. They'll have wing-backs whose only goal is to cross it into the middle where they'll have an overload in the box. We can't allow them to. We've got to stay compact. We've got to stay strong. It might look at times more like a 4-5-1, but for me, if we do this without the ball, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to try and break us down. We've been very good this season so far at making it difficult for teams, at staying compact, at denying them any space in the half spaces, and I think we should do the same thing when we come up against this formation in this Monaco team. If they set up in a 3-5-2, a lot of the things I've just said will be very, very similar. In conclusion, if Spurs set up right, in my opinion, will be sat in the top 8 of the Champions League come Thursday morning. Thank you for watching this video. Take care of yourselves. All the best. And as always and forever, come on, you Spurs.